Okay. Camera is not frozen at the moment. Good. Still not entirely sure. Oh, but this isn't. Always something not cooperating. Okay. Alright. So, I did get the tissue paper art finished from yesterday. I haven't had the chance to post the photos because I just got it done. So, this is how those turned out. So, not too shabby. Any white spots that are on there right now is just the light reflecting. This is a matte finish that actually looks slightly glossy, so I'm a little surprised. But, yeah. Wonder how glossy the glossy finish is gonna look. But, we got the little hangers on. I got the backs sealed. My signature on that one looks upside down the way I did it, but it's not. But it does look that way. But those guys are done. I'll post the photos on them. I'll try to post them later today. I was gonna try to post them this morning, but our power went out for about 15. It ended up only being out for about 15 minutes, but we were sitting here and everything went dark and we heard boom and we're like, no, not again. And sounded like a transformer had blown or something. Something wasn't happy. And I was livid because I'm like, no. I was about to sit down and settle in and record another bit of Bear and Breakfast and or edit some video this morning. Like I had some stuff to do. And then that happened and that kind of derailed me a little bit. And then the husband's like, okay, so they updated the outage map and it's not supposed to come back till 1. I'm like, are you kidding me? It came back 15 minutes later. I don't know what happened. But yeah, so that happened. And that kind of totally kerfluffed everything on me for what I was planning to do this morning. I did manage to get that wrapped up a few minutes ago, but how big do we want the head on this guy? Like his nose is kind of like smooshed, right? He's kind of got like a smushy nose. Alright, so today we're working on needle felting the husband's axolotl. And just trying to figure out the shape of this guy. And this might take a little bit of fussing to get right. Right? Because like if we want this to be kind of like a ice cream cone kind of shape. Nose kind of smooshed in. Head kind of smooshed back. He's got like some antenna things coming up off him. Oh, I should probably put that reference photo up, shouldn't I? Okay. So that's just one of the photos I found. There were multiple. Some were better angles than others. Some weren't part of the free Unsplash portion of their site. So I didn't want to use anything as a reference on stream that wasn't part of the free section. So alright, so I'm probably making this a little bit, although this fluffs, it smushes down pretty good, so we might have to add more to this. So alright, gosh, I don't even know where to begin. Alright, I guess we're gonna try to taper this. as best as we can. So I'm just kind of turning it every so many, like every little bit here. Not quite quarter turns, maybe kind of like quarter turns. Just trying to smush down the tip here in upon itself. Definitely want to have your finger protectors for this part because you're working with fluff that is not very dense yet and very possible to get yourself. And definitely want to have a mat because I am going through the mat. I can feel the mat holding onto our polyfill every time I go to lift it up and turn it. So that was a sort of exciting but not really, almost pain in the ass start to the day. Now, this might involve quite a bit of shaping. So it might end up just kind of looking like a tube at first, and then we might have to branch out from there. To really try to get our shape forming here. So I'm thinking kind of like a blunt ice cream cone shape. It might be a lot blunter than an ice cream cone. But kind of like this triangular kind of cone shape. That's going to be very, very stubby. If you hear faint yelling in the background, and I don't think it's going to get picked up, but should it get picked up, there's a church across the street from our house, and it's Tuesday, so it's one of their Mother's Day out daycare days where they have volunteers that watch the kids, and moms can drop them off while they go do errands, like if they want to try to get the grocery shopping without the kids in tow or what have you, or a doctor's appointment or something. They seem to do it till like 2 in the afternoon. And I don't know if it's 2 different groups of kids, like if they do 2 different sessions, or if some are there all day and they just go outside twice. I don't know, but they seem to be outside at least 2 different times on the playground that they had installed. And they get very loud over there, but they're also surrounded by like brick building on 3 sides, so I don't know if that's like amplifying their loudness. Because there are times where we've been sitting here and we're like, what is that noise? Like we thought one of the dogs was hurt or something, or sick, or one of the cats was trapped at one point. No, it was the kids across the street. We're like, oh, right. It's Tuesday or Thursday. So between that and the traffic noise, Frayed nerves all around. And of course, when the power went out, the Zuzu got kicked into anxiety mode, thinking there was another storm. And I'm like, no, buddy, you're okay. We're mad, but we're not worried. We're upset because we were just about to get started on something. Fortunately, the husband hadn't gotten started on anything. He's been trying to do some stuff on there. Husband is on Blue Sky now, so feel free to give him a follow. Mr. Bright 0, is it 01? Let me double check. I know it's Mr. Bright. Let me double check. Yeah, Mr. Bright 01. So he's been working on a couple digitally things. He made a digital flamingo. That's the husband's Blue Sky handle. But feel free to give him a follow. This is not looking very cone shape yet, so I think we're gonna have to definitely wrap some more around this guy. Right now he's just kind of looking like a tiny fluffy log. Not exactly what we were going for. So it's gonna take quite a bit of fussing, it seems, to get this guy looking even remotely close to what I want him to look like. Hopefully we can get that going. I'm almost done with the 4th live stream from episode 12's speed felt video, cutting all the live streams down and time-lapsing that. I think there was 12 to 13, so I'm almost ready to start the 5th live stream. So been trying to work on that. I need to get back to editing the vacation videos. I have some sunrise videos and sunset videos I still want to get some work done on. But I also was like, you know what? I really need to get those speed felts done. I'm working on the husband's crab still. I haven't gotten much done on that. I need to get the Christmas decorations refreshed. It's been very, very busy. I couldn't even work on that. I was like, oh, well, I mean, if the power's out, then it's not going to be back till 1, then stream is screwed today. So I was like, well, what am I going to do in the meantime? And then I looked at him, I'm like, I can't even work on refreshing the Christmas tree decorations outside because I don't have power for the glue gun. I was like, I guess I could spray paint the frames for the light up flamingos, but we have to dig them out, and then I need to set up either some trash bags cut open or some cardboard or something, because I need to spray paint those. And I was sitting here trying to figure out what I was gonna do with myself. And then I was like, we were standing on the porch, and all of a sudden I looked up and our front porch light was on. And I was like, wait, did the power come back that fast? So I guess they had someone in the area, maybe. Maybe it was an easy fix. Maybe they had already been in the area working on something else. I don't know. gosh, this head is going to be quite an adventure, I think. Yes. Yes, indeed. Because, oh my goodness, right now, like, it doesn't look too bad right now. It's not quite conular, not quite cone-shaped yet. So, right now it kind of looks like a piece of cauliflower. Kind of, sort of. So, we'll see how this starts to come together. We'll see what we can come up with. Hopefully, we can kind of figure this out here. So it's going to take a bit of shaping. But I think we'll be able to pull something together here. Possibly. Maybe. Maybe kind of, sort of, something. Okay. So let's try to... Let's see if we can keep this going here. Turn it a little bit at a time. Because we're still a little squishy down here. So we'll have to see. If we can keep that going. Hopefully. I was like, I don't want it to be completely tubular here. That's not really going to help us very much. But maybe we can start to get something going here. So hope everybody else's Tuesday has gotten off to a better start. I mean, it wasn't all that bad because the power did come back fairly quickly, a lot quicker than we were informed it would be, so I mean, that's something. I suppose. Okay. Yeah, now it just kind of looks like a little white broccoli tree. Might be how we get our cone shape base going here. I'm not sure how big this guy really needs to be yet. Right, so I mean, we can elaborate on it. It's not like this is it. We can add more fluff to it. You just kind of have to work on it slowly. And kind of build him up a bit. I know he looks a little odd at the moment, but most of this stuff looks a little odd when we are first getting going. I mean, the body over here still looks like a little polyfill torpedo. Or a not wide enough stingray. But the vision is there. We just kind of have to get it out of the brain and into the fluff. Not always the easiest task. We're giving it a go, though. Definitely A for effort is there. So the A for, should it be E for effort? I don't know. That phrase has always bugged me. Well, A for effort, but effort starts with the E. I don't know. Just one of the dumb things my brain goes through. Like, I know it's like for grading purposes, but my brain's always been like, no. Alright. So, I mean, it wasn't a half bad polyfill tree if you're trying to make a diorama. It's still gonna end up looking like a little fluffy tube by the time we're done with this round of fluff, I fear. Just be careful, because my finger's in there. Remember to watch the fingers. Ah. Okay. Just kind of working on getting this side all smushed in on itself. That's me letting go of this side with my left hand, or I've pulled the needle out with the right hand. Panda doesn't want to hold on to things today, it seems. I'm glad I wasn't in the middle of recording Bear and Breakfast when the power went out, because, yeah, that would have been awful. That would have been no good. I'd fallen down a rabbit hole of looking at something, and, I guess at that point in time, the rabbit hole saved me from some other issues. Usually falling down rabbit holes creates more issues because then I get sucked in and I'm like, oh, but what about this? But, oh, what about this? Jeez. Okay, so... Alright. Let's get this kind of shaped like this. So we kind of have the top here starting to come together. I'm trying to figure out, though, how do we want to shape this guy? So that's very small. It's gonna have to be a lot bigger. Okay, so he definitely needs fluff wrapped around him. I'm not sure how I want to go about doing that. So let's see. How about I tack this down to here. Alright, we need to figure out where the top of our face is going to be. So like maybe here. Let's work on getting this round of fluff attached. Like, I am fairly certain this is going to be just shaping our face today. At least it's quite possible. So we can either do the wraparound, or we can start doing some tubey bits to try to get the width shaped out how we're looking for. That's always a possibility. Because right now, I kind of feel like doing the wraparound will probably take a good amount of time. To get it to where we really want it to be. Possibly. But it might be easier to shape him. How's our... Okay, so we're kind of flatter on the top and the bottom. Wait, honestly. So I might have to mark this guy. Alright. Again, I don't know if we're quite long enough. That I'm not certain. It feels like a very tiny head here, but we'll have to see if we can... Like, I don't think we can get too much more length on that guy. Like, I'm sure we could probably figure out something. Let's see. 'Cause yeah, that's just not long enough. I mean, we could try to like build up the tip of the nose here. But let's see. All right. Okay, so if I tack you down underneath, and we wrap you around this way, we should, in theory... Nope, get back up here. Be able to tack you into there. So let's get the sides. Like, we should do at least one round of wrapping. Just to make sure he stays a little bit even. And then we will work on trying to lengthen this guy a little bit. And I have a couple of ideas here for how we can do that. You okay?
Yeah. Actually, I'll plug my earphones.
Oh. Alright. So. This guy. Okay, so this is going to be the top of our face, I think. Like the top of our nose and like eyes on this side. Kind of want to try to attach this in a circular motion if I can, like an arch motion. If at all possible. Just so I don't get one side flatter than the other. Okay. So this guy is still kind of side of the head here. Alright. Now I'm okay with the underside being a little bit flatter because like the top of the face kind of like comes down, and then this side it's kind of like similar to the top, but probably not as steep of an angle there. Okay, so you can see a slight indent there from where that was not as, like the end piece was a little bit thicker. Alright, so do we want to wrap this back piece then, or do we just want to start with adding our angles? And I think we might do one wrap around there. If nothing else, just for consistency before we start trying to lengthen our snoot here. Our snooty snoot snoot. Okay. So I'm going to tack this piece down here on our underside. And just a bit before we start wrapping around. Okay, and then back to the underside here. Starting to get a little misshapen already. Maybe we can still fix it. He's got a long ways to go here. So this is my underside of the head. Okay. So let's work on the side now. Alright, I'm going to be a little bit more careful up here where my finger is. We're going to try to be a little more careful. I know this head is too small for our body at the moment. And we're going to try to lengthen it a little bit here. In just a minute. Not sure if I want to lengthen this way or if I want to lengthen that way. We might lengthen that way now that I'm thinking about it. It might actually be a little bit easier to deal with going in that direction. But then again, maybe not. Okay, so we're looking back at the side slash underside of the face. Okay, so this is the other side here. A little bit careful up by my finger. I'm going to try to be. It's usually famous last words, but we're going to try. Hopefully the camera doesn't freeze on me today. Okay. So this is the top side of the face here. That we are looking at. So we need to get a little bit wider and a little bit longer. This is still pretty loosey-goosey up here. Need to work on getting this all smushed down into place. As best as we can. This side needs a little bit of smooshing. This side. It's gonna take a bit of fussing back and forth. To try to get this shaped how we want it. Like it's kind of getting there. This side looks a little lopsided though. Looks like it could be tapped in a little bit more. Elbow meet desk, desk meet elbow. Okay. It looks like the nose of a dragon we're building. Oddly enough. Okay, we need some more fluff. Okay. So, how do we want to lengthen this guy? So this is the underside. Do we want to go smaller bit here and like tack it on to the nose and take it up the face this way? Ooh. Oh no, come back here. I mean, that is a bit of an option. So we could tack you on the nose and then do that. Or what we could also do here is let me tack you down in the middle here. Just to get you sort of attached. And then we could maybe do this. Up here. And start to attach these guys. All right, now it's starting to look like a chicken leg. So there's that. I guess a smushy wide chicken leg could kind of work here. As long as it doesn't resemble food when we're done, I guess. see about tacking this section down. So we need to attach this piece to the other piece. And we're probably going to have to do this a couple of times here. We still might have to do another couple of wrap arounds, I'm thinking. To try to get our width sorted. But at the moment, I'm more concerned with our length, right? Because it's just not quite long enough. Although he's not wide enough yet either. But we might be able to get that sorted here by doing this. There. Get a look at this side here. Okay, I'm okay if this bit is a little bit flatter, this side. This is our underside. Now we did have quite a bit of fluff here that we kind of wrapped around the top. So that's going to take a minute to get all that attached here. This is the side of our face. We are working on attaching, and this is going to take a little bit of back and forth, a little bit of fussing. A, because I've never made an axolotl before. And B, because I've never made an axolotl before. Creatures are not my strong suit. Okay, we do better at doing the flat painting guys. That's more of our jam. But I've done a couple of creatures. Like, we still have Marvin. Marvin, our flamingo. Marvin, our lawn flamingo. Our desk lawn flamingo. He was slightly challenging for how I made him. I actually wasn't expecting him to be quite that small. When I started working on him, he took me about a full day. Since I wasn't real sure what the heck I was doing. The other side of our face here. I'm just trying to make sure we are attached into the rest of it. That's not too bad. This is the top of our face here. So like eyeballs will be on either side of this when we get there. Alright. I just have to change carefully how I'm sitting so I don't disrupt any wires. Okay. So definitely not long enough yet. Definitely not. Alright. So let's get a bit more. No, you have to stay up here, friend. So we need a bit more fluff and stuff. That might be a little too much. Sometimes it's easier to work in small amounts. And this won't be that small of an amount once we get our shape here figured out. Now the polyfill does like to stick to itself to a degree. So if you've got part of your fluffy snake here where maybe it's a little thin, you might, and I stress might, be able to readjust it a little bit. Like, it doesn't do too bad of a job. I mean, there's definitely some like cracks. It's not like solid, but it is better than it was a minute ago. All right, I'm gonna attach you to the middle. And then I'm gonna take you to the edge here, I think. And that will help make sure you are firmly attached. Okay. Okay, let's see here. How's that look? I'm gonna try to tap around my finger. All right. Okay. So let's see. Let's start with our underside because that can get a little bit flatter. That's probably the easiest place to start here. For us, at least. Oh, watch the finger. Okay. Highly, highly recommend the finger protectors when doing critters. But then again, I am a klutz. And tend to stab the heck out of myself. Alrighty. Ooh. Like there. it went into the protector, but it somehow missed my finger. I'm not quite sure how I missed my finger there, but I did. All the better. Okay. So, again, I'm just trying to make sure we're getting this top piece good and attached here into the rest of this. Okay. So, we might be working on lengthening this guy. I didn't measure him. I probably should have. So that I could see the progress here. I mean, we probably could put a mark with one of our paint markers if it really comes to it. This guy, this is the top piece where we attached to begin with. So this is side of the face here. So we're just gonna kind of tap in to the side here and see about trying to A, widen it a little bit, and B, which I'm really trying to focus on, is lengthening. And I think we're making a little bit of progress on the lengthening portion. Maybe. I mean, the fluff gets compacted, so it's going to take a little bit of effort and patience to get this guy built up. Okay, so we're going to come back over to the other side of our face here. And work on getting this tapped in here. All right, so our top. Oh, our finger is back here, and we're kind of going through at a slight angle, so watch your finger. I did feel it touch the finger protector when the needle went in there. It didn't go through it, but I did feel it touch it. So we kind of feel like we're slightly maybe crocodile or alligator shaped at the moment. This is the upper portion of the head that we are working on right now. Okay. Snuffles, what are you doing? I feel like we need to be out in the woods looking for truffles with you. The way you're snorting. I sound like one of those truffle hunting pigs. Or go to Walmart and squeeze one of the gopher dog toys they have. She sounds like that. All the time. Okay, so let's see here. Let's get this section. So this side here is still pretty soft and squishy. So that tells me that I'm not attached that much. Like, I'm attached, but if I gotta start putting color in while it's quite that squishy, I might lose our shape a bit. So this is still the top of the head here. And I guess we've added on a little bit of length, because I suppose we were here. Kind of do want to add a slight mark to that. Cats, come on now. That's enough. Move along. Alright, I want to, what do we want to use to mark this? See if I can find my paint markers. Oh, I found them. Can I get one out? Oh, hey, it's the same pink one. Alright. So I'm gonna mark the underside here. That won't be visible when we... No. Here's the post. Oh. That won't really be visible when we go to add the color. So that's the underside. Alright. I'm gonna get some more polyfill. Okay. Maybe a little bit pulled out. It's a little thick for what I'm looking for here. Like just a little bit. Okay. I mean, it is pretty thick here. Okay, so this is the back of the head. I'm going to tack this down. I'm going to try to tack it down in the middle. Doesn't have to be super tacked down, but I do want to tack it down enough where it's not going to come loose on me for this next part. Maybe I'll take it to the edge here. Might make it a little bit easier. Okay. It's got a little tail. Okay. So now to try to alright, so maybe we want to wrap around once and then bring this guy up in like that, like a little hat. Okay, I'm gonna hold it like that. And we're gonna tack down the top here. So this would be the back of the head, like where it's gonna connect to the body. Okay, so then in here, I am going to start tacking this down on the edge, and I realize that we covered our other mark here, but it's right in there. I can kind of see it through our fluff. Coming down at a slight angle because I am trying to attach to the other fluff here. And it's okay that I've overlapped to a degree. Like that should be fine. Oh, this side's a little bit thicker than the other side of the head. So that could be a slight issue. I might have to do some trimming. Hopefully we don't have to do too much. Or a little bit of a patchy patch on the other side. Also help balance that out just a bit. We will see. Alright, yeah, that side's a bit thinner. Okay. Well, let's see about getting the front of our face, top of our face figured out here. Kind of reminds me of the witch's hairstyle from Spirited Away. Just a little bit. Alright, so this is the other side of the head here. Just to try to get that sorted and attached. So like that's our mark from where we first, I think, started adding these layers. So we'll use that as our sort of benchmark for how this is going. Let's see how much we have potentially lengthened this guy. He does feel a little bit longer in my hands here. Alright, so I want to try to make sure I'm still following this arch kind of angle. Mostly so I don't flatten out the side of his face too much. It looks like a little torch. All we need is some flamey colored stuff. Some flamey colored fluff. Or, you know, a chicken leg. Am I hungry? No, not at all. Not at all. I'm always hungry. Always, always hungry. Okay. So I've kind of like mushed a piece up here around. Oh, 1 second, you guys. Alright, sorry, phone rang. I try to mute or get the phone answered before our phone says who is calling. If nothing else for their privacy. Okay. This needs to get kind of worked down into here. So we've kind of got a super tiny kind of ice cream cone shape starting. Kind of. Kind of a sad looking ice cream cone, but you know, I prefer to eat my ice cream out of a cup because I'm a slower eater. But I still have an idea of the ice cream cone shape. Question is, are you long enough yet for your body? And I don't believe you are. I think you might need, I don't know, maybe at least one more? No, maybe two. Because you're kind of mostly head, right? Your head and a bit of body? Oh gosh, if that's the case. If that's the case. Oh boy. We did not think the body size through. Very much now, did we? Although I will say, for an hour and 20 minutes, maybe an hour and 15 minutes by the time we actually started dabbing our fluff. Not too bad of a shaping session here. Definitely getting a little bit bigger. I can fist it now. All the inappropriate things with this, all of it. Trust me, I know what it's been looking like the whole time we've been working on it. Just been trying to behave. Because that's not what this is. Not at all what this is. Alright. So, still a little... No matter what I say on this piece, it's gonna be bad. So, yeah, it's still a little soft up there. That's not too bad. So we've had it a little bit. Oh. So I'm thinking, yeah, that still needs to be a little bit longer. I mean, with not withstanding, it still needs to be, because the body's like this long, right? The body's like the length of the mat. So, yeah. We need to be a little bit longer. I don't know how much longer, but definitely a little bit. Okay. You know what? I'm even okay if we just get the sides built up. We can fill the middle in. That's fine. Now that I'm thinking about it, like this, the middle doesn't have to be completely perfect. As we are going, we can come back and add some more fluff and stuff to that bit. That piece right there is a little sketchy. Oh my goodness, you're quite lengthy here. Fluffy snake. Okay. So again, this is our underside. So I'm going to tack our fluff down in the middle and take it to the edge of the back of the head. Why is my Twitch dashboard so far behind? Twitch running on my Kindle is not that behind. That is wild. Oh gosh. Okay, let me tack you down just a little bit further. I might have to trim this, if only to make it a little bit more manageable. Yeah, where's my scissors? Don't normally like to trim the polyfill because then it gets a little fuzzy everywhere, but I think that's what we kind of need on this guy. Okay, so back of our head here. Now I know I kind of wrapped around the outer edge, so we're not going to get a whole lot of length on this pass, but this is what I'm thinking. We do one more kind of wraparound pass here, and then I'm gonna take some fluff and just start stabbing it to the back of the head, because we can do the wraparounds to shape it and widen it out a bit here as we go. And then I think we'll be starting to make some real headway. Hopefully. We will see. Keep trying to put the unprotected fingers in the line of fire. We definitely don't want that. That will do us no favors whatsoever. Oh. I swear there's times where it feels like my right hand and my left hand are at war with one another. The way the right hand likes to get these little digs in on it. Okay. So this is the side of our head here that we are attaching into at the moment. And I'm trying to stab in the shape that I am looking for. Kind of like with Bob Ross, and he's like, follow your angles. That's what we're kind of trying to do here. I know that is painting, and this is needle felting, but kind of, sort of, same, but not. Right? Like, we gotta try to shape it. And I keep banging my elbow, because that's helpful. Okay. So this piece here, I'm gonna start to get this section worked in. We're going to try to even this out just a little bit. Like, we're going to try. I don't know how successful we'll be, but all we can do is try, right? Sometimes we gotta step out of the comfort zone. I know that's easier said than done. Trust me, I know. Sometimes we can be okay, and sometimes it's like, nope, 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 this just ain't working. But in terms of art, at least, we don't have a whole lot to lose. So we had bought a like crochet kit that was super cheap to teach you how to make the little animals, because I've kind of wanted to learn how to do that. And of course it was a little flamingo, and I can barely do a chain stitch, so it said intermediate on the outside of the package, and I'm like, I don't know if this is a good idea. So I got it, opened the instructions, and I'm like, oh, my brain. And then I looked at the instructional video, and then I went, oh god, my brain just ground to a halt. I was like, nope, 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 nope. However, I found a video on YouTube of someone making a turtle. And I understand this is a turtle and not a flamingo. However, their explanation of how to get the circular stitch going made a little more sense in my brain watching them do it than watching the other video. So I might give it another try. Maybe. Or maybe I'll just try to make the turtle, and then if I feel confident enough, try to... Although if I do the turtle, I have to use my own yarn. And I'm not using the same gauge as them. So, and the same yarn, because they're using the chunky, velvety, fluffy yarn. Like the Chanel, that's what it is. Like, I know the name of this yarn, even if it is escaping me at the moment. But I saved the video for later, because right now I've got enough projects in progress. I really shouldn't add any more to that. ADHD kicks in hard. I mean, there'll be time to look into that later, right? Because I've got the husband's crab in progress. I finally got the magnets finished that I've got right now. I need to paint more. So, I've got some ideas to visit for those. And I might double use those ideas for the needle felted magnets that I want to attempt as well. I've got the stuff to attempt them, I just haven't had the time yet with Christmas gifts needing to get done. So as soon as Christmas gifts get done, like we've gotten 2 gifts done already. So great. Next Monday we'll start work on my mom's. I have to figure out what size canvas hers is going on. Figure out how we're gonna do that one. Okay, so that's not too bad. I think now, I mean, we're fairly even, right? We're gonna start adding some fluff to the back of this, right? Because that still doesn't feel quite right, right? Like, should the head be like half the length of the body? If that's the case, we need to come maybe another 2 inches. Maybe. I mean, the head's a little stubby there, but this doesn't feel quite long enough. Oh, no, come back. Oh, no. Oh, there it is. Sometimes when stuff falls off the desk, it enters no man's land. Okay. So we are gonna start adding some fluff to the back of the head here. Specifically the back of the head. Just to try to get a bit more length on this a little bit faster. And then we can do another bit of wrapping around just to get the shaping right. Because as it stands right now, the head's way too narrow. Way too narrow. We definitely have to widen that a bit still. But I think length is more important at the moment. And then we can go back and widen that when we get there. Okay. Again, I'm just trying to add a little bit of length here. Now I want to be careful that I also don't lose my shape by doing this. So, do you want to keep that in mind with how we are attaching this? And I was really nervous to start this, right? Because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Like, that much should be apparent. But we're trying to figure it out. That section there feels a little taller than the rest of it. I've got a slight indent right there. Okay, so I think once we get the length right, then we might add some more, like maybe, I don't know, do we want to do more wraparound? Wraparound might be a little bit smoother. Or do we want to do like the tubies like we did on this guy and then do a wraparound at the end? I don't know what's going to be the better option here. Sorry, I'm just shaping the next bit of fluff here. All right. Very carefully tap in around my finger, going in at a slight angle around my finger, not too much. And you do want to try to go straight up and down where you can. Sometimes that is more easily suggested than accomplished. Try to be careful here. Okay, that's somewhat attached here. I don't know if this will get us to where we're going any faster, but we'll see. All right. So this here facing me is the top of the head, where the eyes are going to be. This is like the chin neck area where our mark is. Now at the moment we're just using basic ass polyfill, nothing fancy about it. I managed to get mine from Walmart. You can get it just about anywhere though. The price at Walmart, if memory serves correctly, was better than at Joann's though. So you might want to shop around. Just make sure you're comparing sizes and prices. And if you have more options than just Amazon, definitely window shop before you decide to get any kind of art supply, because some of the sellers on Amazon are much higher than getting it in person if you're able to get it in person at a local store. Or even check that store's website and see if they have a purchase online option. Because I've seen better prices even direct from company than on Amazon at times. Like I saw somebody selling the 2-ounce bottles of Apple Barrel, which go for about under $1, depending on where you're buying it. I think Walmart, last time I looked at it, was like between 50 and 75 cents. Selling it for almost $4 a bottle of the 2-ounce size, and I'm like, no. No. Nothing against Apple Barrel, but it's Apple Barrel. $4? No. No. That's more than Folk Art and Ceramcoat and Americana. No. It wasn't a metallic shade, it wasn't anything fancy, it wasn't an enamel. It was just their basic bitch acrylic paint. Okay, so that was that mark here. I believe the other mark was about here. Let's see. We still have to attach this guy, right? So we still need a little bit more length, I think. So I'm gonna add a little bit more to this, right? And then I'll start doing some more wraparounds just to fill it out. Or maybe we start chunking them. No, the wraparounds are a little more even, I think. I don't really need you thicker that way. I need you wider. Not sure why I made that long of a snake there. My brain went somewhere else, I guess. Okay. So I'm try to get the middle tapped down here enough. Okay. Sometimes it's actually harder to do it this way because it's so stiff. It's like jarring my whole arm here trying to stab into it. Sometimes it is easier to have the solidness of the mat and the table under you. Yeah, I think after this edition, I'm going to come back and we'll do another wrap around the outer edge of this. And we'll see about starting to widen this guy out a bit more. Am I actually shaking the camera? No. My whole one side of my desk was shaking from how we were tapping, so I wasn't sure if the camera was actually shaking or if it was the desk. So I had to stop stabbing there a second and check the Kindle feed. So this again is the underside of the face, like the chin area. So we've got a little dome forming on the back of our head section, and that's okay at the moment. It is doing what we wanted in regards to lengthening our piece here. Slowly but surely. Okay. I mean, it's not too bad. Okay. I mean, I don't know. I kind of feel like it's still not quite long enough. Because our photo there, I mean, I guess the body's a bit longer. I mean, the body is longer than the head. Like, I'm not looking at the width of the head yet. I'm just kind of looking at the length. And I guess he is kind of a stubby head. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's take this bit of fluff in my hands. Because we're definitely not there roundness-wise. For sure. So. I'm going to tack this down on the back of the head. As best as I can. Because I don't want them coming loose. Oh no, you're not. Ah, no, 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 no. You are not long enough. Okay. Tell you what. This is still the chin side that I have facing me. Okay. Okay. I am going to tack that down into there. Not the best. We probably should have just stuck that back on top. But I think we're okay. Alright, so I'm gonna tack that in there. So right now I'm just kind of doing another bit of a wraparound. Trying to wrap around the pieces that we just kind of added to. Trying to fill out around it. So it doesn't look like so much of a dome. I guess we're going for more of like a carrot shape at the moment. More than anything. I know that probably sounds kind of strange, but that's what I'm looking for. At this very juncture. is just more of this carroty shape. Okay, so then this bit here, I'm going to work on attaching. Now this is again the top of the face where our eyeballs are gonna go. So we'll probably have to do one more kind of wrap around up in here, just to kind of catch up to the other bits that we've attached so far. So I'm just making sure that this bit that we wrapped around is attached. That is our goal at the moment. That and trying to keep our one flat-sided carrot shape. Whoop. Careful. That we don't want to stab ourselves. No stabbing. Okay. That still feels a little not attached right in there. Okay. So I think we're getting there. So I think that was the first mark. I think the second mark was there. I don't know how I want to. I guess we don't have to add another wraparound right now, but I don't know. How do I want to do this? So we need to definitely widen you quite a bit. So we could start doing that here. And then just kind of try to smooth out the rest as we go down. That might be what we do here. Alright, so this is the chin side of the head, underside. Alright, so I've got that sort of tacked down there. And we're gonna wrap around a little hat, a little sun visor, I guess, because there's no top to this hat. Okay. So just kind of grab, I'm taking my needle and I'm pushing it up against the fluff because it was kind of fluffed out. Just so I can kind of see, and I'm like pushing back before I stab down. So it's like, oh, taking a little peek and then feeling where our ring of fluff is back here. So we don't get too lost in what we're doing. So again, I'm pushing against the fluff before I stab down. You don't want to stab down and push back because then your needle's going to snap. Very careful with that. Okay, so this is the nose. I've got them flipped upside down at the moment. No real reason other than just being able to see on this end. Don't forget to get your upper edge here. Make sure you're attaching that. And if you have to come down at a slight angle, then you know, that is what it is. Just want to make sure that you're definitely attached to the rest of your fluff here. Now this side I'm just kind of doing a little bit flatter. I'm not really worrying about, you know, trying to keep that archy, angled feeling. Okay. And don't be afraid to turn your piece in any which direction you need to. You got to be able to see what you're doing, right? I think I might have to turn our mat here a little bit. All right, so this is the side of our face here. I'm going to try to keep our angle like we've been doing. As best as we can. I know it's not going to be easy. Like, trust me, I know that. It looks like we're putting a little fur hat on this guy. Just a little bit. I mean, your shape should be pretty good so far. Like, I don't think you'll lose too much of it if you don't, like, keep with, like, the rounded bit fully, but do keep in mind that it could be possible to lose some of it. So I'm going to come back over to the other side of our base here. Like our profile-y bit. and just kind of keep going on this bit here. Oh, my arms are getting a workout today. That's for sure. So we're gonna get some more fluffy bits wrapped around this. So don't worry too much about this side yet. It's gonna look a little funny as we are doing this part, but we should be able to get that sorted here. Plus, when we go to attach it to the body, I'm thinking I might make a bit of a fluff snake here and make it long enough to attach it and then wrap it over the end of the body here, just to make attaching a little bit easier. So if we attach it to the back of the head, and then see about getting the rest of it popped in, we should be looking pretty good. Alright, so now we're kind of shooting for a stubby traffic cone. I think is what we're ultimately going to try to shape this guy as. Okay, now, or maybe like a really obnoxiously wide bowling pin. Okay. But we will probably have to add some more wraparounds on the head shape. And you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking I might have to do some work on this guy. Like extra work, because we haven't even done the leggies yet. Like, we're still trying to shape the head. I mean, the legs will probably be a little bit easier. Maybe, and this guy's leggies don't need to support him. I don't have to worry about that. But at the same time, We might have to do an extra stream. I'm not gonna start the extra streams on this one just yet. I think we'll wait till we get into December before I start to completely have a nightmarish panic meltdown about starting this early and still not being done. So let's get some more fluff here. Yeah, see, I just don't know what it would probably be faster. But I'm also kind of happy with our shape at the moment. Like this little bit here is a little bit thinner. Like I don't want to lose the shape of my face here. All right, let's see. Like this guy already feels too thick. By comparison, so let's see. Are these even like they're kind of same length? They're not quite the same thickness though. All right. Let's see. I might regret this. And maybe I won't. But wrapping the fluff around and then coming back up the nozzle here. I'm on the side of the face. I should be, yeah. Might take an ungodly amount of time. Although doing pieces on the side of the face may also take an ungodly amount of time. We'll see. I know some people might be like, it's November 12th, why are you freaking out? Because I'm only working 1 day a week on this. And we haven't put the color on anything yet. So I know how long Chungus took me. That is why I am freaking out. Although Chungus took about a month. Of streaming and off streaming that one. Like I was recording working on Chungus too. There is a speed video time lapse thing of me working on Chungus on stream and off of stream. And it still took me till New Year's Day to finish. And we are trying not to let that happen this time. If I do have to do any off-stream work, I will record it. I'm hoping I don't have to. It will be easier for me if we can just do it on stream in its entirety. I still have to make these like funky antenna things, right? Okay. So let's see here about tacking down this side, because this in here is not attached yet. In this section, I don't have it on the greatest angle here. The one thing with the critters, sometimes my angle's not the best on the camera, because I'm paying attention more to me being able to see what I'm doing, so I don't accidentally stab thyself. Okay, so might get the widening out to happen a little bit faster. Maybe. And I do stress maybe. Like this bit in here is still pretty fluffed out. We've really only gotten the edges of this section, so we need to come back in and start getting this middle tacked down. As best as we can. Alright, so you can kind of see this line through here. That was that side that we just added. Alright. So what side do we want to go where? Alright, so this is the chin, back, bottom of the head, whatever you want to call it. Alright, so I guess we're just gonna dive in here. Whoop, careful. I missed that completely. I didn't get myself, but I did see it come out the other side. So that's never a good thing. Especially if your fingers are in the way. Try to keep the fingers out of the way. I mean, I know you're gonna have some fingers in the way because you gotta hold on to the thing, but at the same time, gotta be careful with those unprotected fingies. Okay. Alright, so let's get this bit here. Now I'm looking at the underside at the moment. So I'm trying to be careful with how we are attaching to make sure I don't attach too much on the front of the face here. Because I don't want to go too far. Like, we can still reshape it from here. But I'm really happy with this face shape so far. Which doesn't happen often, so I don't want to lose that. If at all possible. Alright, so, I mean, we're not doing too bad. We're kind of at the same points on both sides here, although that should probably be more like that. Okay. So again, we're just trying to add this bit of a fluffy snake to the side of our face here. Because we've got to get this guy wider. We might be there on the length, maybe. Not 100% sure on that yet. But part of me just wanted to start widening this so we can see how we're looking, right? Okay. That's not too bad. We definitely have to add a few more. Because face is definitely too narrow still. But I think we're at least on the right trail. On the right pathway. However you want to metaphor that, describe it. Okay. So this side might be a little bit thicker. We'll see by the time I get it attached here. ends up being the case. Which I was afraid of happening, but we might be able to either shave some off or try to make the other side thicker to balance it out if we need to. Big if, don't know if we're there yet. But this looks like once we are fully attached here, we'll determine a few different things. Alrighty. Okay, that's not too bad. Back over to this side. Still might trim a little bit of this, maybe. I don't know. Because it compacts down pretty good. So we might not necessarily need to. We're definitely getting a workout today, though. Arm hasn't had much of a break today. Alright. So, I'm going a little bit slower. Just trying to make sure we are looking good here. It gets a little bit thicker and a little bit more piled on. The the fluff fiber, there we go, fiber, gets a little bit stiffer. So you'll definitely feel a difference trying to stab into it, right? So this little bit here still felt kind of squishy. Okay, not terrible. It's fairly even for us on either side there. So we're gonna get a bit more fluff here. Because it's not wide enough. I think we need to be a lot wider. Alright, so I'm just trying to even out our bit of fluff here. And I'm rolling it to try to get it to tighten up a bit. So that way I can get an idea of the density that we have. we're gonna get a bit more fluff. And going to roll this bit together. Actually, that I'm going to kind of roll over on itself a little bit more. I'm trying to match the density of our other guy here. Probably pull that bit off and still be okay. All right. All right, that's a little bit long still. It's still a little bit long. Well, maybe if I tuck it in. I don't think I can really elongate this one. They're not terrible. We'll put the slightly longer one on this side, I guess, this time. Alright, now I have the top of the head, or like the side that the eyes are going to be on, facing me at the very moment. The underside chin area is facing away from me at the moment. So this might take a couple of these getting added on. So don't be surprised if you attempt an axolotl. And it takes a little bit. Heck, don't forget, you guys can tag me on any projects you're working on Blue Sky or whatever, or post them in comments or what have you. I'd love to see them. No anatomy pics, please. I don't need to see anybody else's aside from my husband's. Thanks. That I won't be happy about. That I don't need to see. But, you know, arty things, crafty things, sure. Why not? Or you can tag my Instagram too. The link to that should be down below, or you can message me on Instagram. Like, that's fine. Those types of things are fine. Alright, so I'm going to turn this slightly. Actually, no, we're going to turn it all the way. So we've got the chin side facing up towards the camera at the moment. And I'm just trying to get an edge attached here to give us something to work with. Like, it can be digital art, it can be painting, it can be mosaics, whatever floats your boat. Embroidery, I don't care. If you want to share it, feel like sharing it. As long as it's not anatomy photos. Those I don't want to see. Thanks, but I'm good. Those are private. And you should keep them as such. But anything else? Alright. We are working on getting this other bit of fluff attached to the other side of the face here, or the one side of the face. And it's being a little bit trickier, but that's okay. It's gonna get a little more awkward as it gets wider to hold onto, sorry. Sometimes I forget where the camera is. And sometimes, especially when we're working on the figurines, I tend to pull it out of camera frame. I try not to, but it happens sometimes. Especially if we are dealing with a particularly tricky angle. Alright, but we're getting there. Okay, we're definitely down the road from where we started, right? So we're making progress. Not very confident progress, but we're making progress. Right? And that's something. Okay, we're working towards something. Whether or not it's going to look like an axolotl when we're finished is another thing, but I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Alright. So get these guys. That's going to take a little bit longer to get these fluffy snakes attached, right? Because they're a little bit thicker than our wraparound bits. So it's going to require a little more patience. And a little more time. And a little more care. We want to make sure that we are actually attached to our the other fluff snake, and we also want to make sure that other fluff snake is good and attached to the rest of the face, because, you know, if our anchor point's not anchored enough, then we might run into a problem down the road here as we anchor more layers to it. But I think we're doing okay. We feel okay so far. So this is the side of the face, side of the head that we are attaching this bit into. Now, trying to make sure that I'm going back over the middle of it and not just the sides as we go, just so it doesn't like pull anything in a funny direction and totally misshapen us here. But I mean, I'm starting to see it come together. We still have to add this one, right? So how many more of the wider pieces do we need to go? That I'm not sure yet. I'm also not sure if I'm gonna do another set of wraparounds. Kind of depends. I mean, we could wrap around with the fluff, but then again, I might not. I might just put clumps of the fluff on there instead of wrapping it around on the face itself. We also have to add these little antenna doodles around the head, like those little spiky guys coming up. I'm not sure how many there are in that photo. We don't have to follow that photo exactly. I've also got a couple of stuffies in person that I am looking at. It's kind of hilarious how individual the stuffies can be. How different they look. I guess they have to change the designs up a little bit for like trademark or copyright or whatever. So it doesn't look like they're ripping off somebody else's axolotl. Alright. So we're definitely getting there. I'm not sure if one more on the other side is going to do it though. I mean, we still have to do another wrap around this area, right? Because then we have to figure out our antenna guys, which I'm not sure about those. Like, not sure how I want to handle them. We might have to make them... Oh gosh. How are we going to handle those? I guess it kind of depends on how many we're doing. Maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5. I guess we could go about 5. That might be doable. But I might have to make them and then attach them. Like separately, like I might have to color them and fully attach them to the head. So we've gone 1, 2. Still don't think it's gonna be wide enough. Like, I think we're gonna have to go, maybe one more set, if not 2. Okay, so I'm just gonna try to do sort of a quick side attachment just to kind of get us figured out here so we can see what exactly we have to work with. This guy definitely seems a little bit thicker than our other side. Might just simply be illusion. We haven't started to really compact this side yet. But I'm not the greatest at getting the densities the same for both sides, so that's not all that surprising. But the husband said make it as derpy as possible. So he's not expecting store stuffy quality. So we've got that going for us. So anything from like claw machine quality upward, we're looking good. Right? Okay. This is the other side of the head here that we are working on attaching this fluffy snake to. So we're trying to make the head a little bit wider. I'm not still sure about the length. Might have needed to be just a touch longer, but then I wasn't let go. I wasn't sure if in our pursuit of making this wider, if it would get a little bit longer, depending on how I handled things. So we're just gonna take it one fluffy bit at a time here. And see how we end up. So far, so good, I think. Like, I think we're definitely on the right track here. Although I think I touched that side. Not necessarily in the right spot. But what can you do? Just kind of hold on and keep stabbing, I guess. And we'll figure it out after we get this guy all attached here. Again, be careful where your fingers are holding on. We don't want to stab into them. Highly recommend the safety stuff to keep your fingers as safe as they can be. So like in the spots that I'm stabbing and suddenly like the needle goes woo like that, that means it came out the other side unexpectedly and wasn't stabbing into a solid section of fluff. So if my finger had been in there, I probably would have gotten it. One of these times it hit the mat, which is again why we have the mat there, to protect the needle from breaking and to protect us. More so the needle though, but if we have a solid surface to sit this guy on, then technically our hands shouldn't be in the way. Just coming back along in here. Just making sure we are good and anchored. Or at least as anchored as we can be, right? So now the question becomes, when we go to do the antennas, right? Do we want to do them out of the yarn itself? Or do we want to do it in the polyfill and then just wrap it? We can do either. I'm honestly not sure which one of those options would be easier. Although the making it out of the yarn color itself might be a little bit easier, but I still have to attach the fringy things, so maybe it would be easier to do it out of the polyfill and then wrap it. But then I might not have as much, like it might be thick enough where I won't have as much fluff coming out the other side of it. Not sure that's a decision we're gonna have to make today, but it might be. It very well might be. Either way, I'm gonna have to make the antennae completely before we attach it, because that's gonna be really rough sled in there to try to attach that and get the pink yarn wrapped around it after attaching. Because it's going to be kind of tight quarters. And I don't really want to flatten it out because they're kind of round-ish. I've seen two different versions. Like this guy's kind of got like little antennae coming up off of him, and the stuffies have just like a flat piece with then like another flat bit around it. So now I'm not sure how I want to approach that. I mean, I'm not one to back down from a challenge, but I know which one would most likely be easier. But that I'm probably gonna have to think about. And I'm gonna have to look up some more photos and kind of figure out how we want to do that. Get my thumb out of the way. Move this a bit back more in frame. So we're kind of on the bottom edge there. Alright, so that's still kind of squishy. We're not fully attached right there yet. Because I want to know what I'm dealing with here. I want to make sure that we are looking pretty good. Okay, so still not wide enough. It's not. But this line here was the first one. This is the second one, right? So you can kind of see them in there. So we definitely have our shape in the right direction. This is the underside, like the chin. So we're gonna need a bit more fluff. And wrapping it at this point, I don't think is gonna get us to where we need to go. So let's see, let me tuck you back down in there because that was a bit of a pointy bit there. Let me tuck that back in. I mean, the polyfill does tend to cling pretty good to itself here. So, I mean, that's not too bad. Let's see here. Let's get a little bit more for the other side, and this already feels much denser. All right, let me kind of fold over that bit there on the ends. All right. So we'll get that. Okay. So if we add those two, these guys aren't like super dense. So don't know if we should add more now or if we should add some more afterwards. Like, that's not too bad. I just have this little, I've got more, don't worry. I've got a whole bag. We've got a whole ginormous bag, so we shouldn't run out on this. I don't think we'll take the entire bag. Maybe half of it. But I doubt it'll be all of it. Okay. You okay? Husband? 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 You okay? You were like banging your desk.
I'm sorry, not knowing me.
Okay. Just making sure you're all right. Okay, so those will be the other two. All right, so then let's see which one looks fluffier. All right, let's do that. Okay. So we're going to tack bits of polyfill stick to my fingers. Tack this down to here. Okay, now I'll work on anchoring this. Now, are there better ways to do this? Probably, but this is me trying to figure it out. Anybody that's familiar with the channel knows we don't normally do creatures except for Christmas gifts. I had planned on attempting a flamingo, a bigger flamingo than Marvin. That had been one of my plans, but we didn't get the last Bob Ross needle felt done as fast as I thought we were going to. So I wanted to just dive into Christmas gift making here, because I move a little bit slower. It takes me a little bit longer to sort things out in my brain. So I try to work within my limitations. And I didn't think attempting the flamingo was going to give us enough time to get started on his. Now we can still do it afterwards or later down the road. I'm not saying we won't do it. I'm just saying other things had a higher priority. Okay. Starting to look like a little bit of a rocket ship now. Just a little bit. Not exactly what we were going for, but hey. I guess a space shuttle-esque shape is kind of what we're looking for in the most basic sense, I suppose. I'm certainly glad we weren't waiting on those washers to show up, because after 2 and we still haven't gotten those delivered yet, unless they're in the mailbox and we don't know it. We thought we were going to have to replace the washers on the, or a washer on the outside faucet, because we suddenly, out of nowhere, started getting this horrendous noise coming from in the wall. We didn't know what it was at first. And then we think we narrowed it down to the outside faucet pipes. And we weren't sure why that started all of a sudden. So we had the faucet cover over it. So I don't really know what's going on. But it just suddenly started making this horrendous loud vibration-y hum, like machinery whirling noise. And my husband thought, well, maybe there's air in the line. I'm like, but it doesn't seem to be like spitting out air at the faucet. It usually sounds different. And he's like, I don't know. That's just what I'm reading. I'm like, all right. He goes, but I might have to replace the washer. I'm like, okay. So we ordered a whole bunch of different sized washers. So that way we didn't have to play back and forth to the store and have like a 50-cent part cause us a whole bunch of heartache, because to replace this washer we have to call the city to turn the water off at our meter, because we don't have a shutoff valve that we can access to turn the water off for 10 minutes so we can fix it. So we'd have to call the city, be like, yeah, I need to fix something, and try to fix it, and then call them back and be like, yeah, hey, 15 minutes later, can you turn this back on now? They haven't charged us for it in the past when we've had to do it, but they have to do it. So we couldn't mess with it yesterday. Well, last night, when I was doing the dishes, I didn't have the water running very fast. Like, I didn't have that much coming out. Less than I normally do. Which made dishes take a little bit longer, but, you know, okay, whatever. And the noise didn't happen. And I was like, oh, that's odd. Because it had been happening off and on all day. Like, whenever we flushed the toilet, hot water, cold water, no matter what, it was happening. And he noticed it wasn't running. I noticed, like, the sound wasn't happening. So he turned the faucet on real hard when I asked him about it, and some air came out. I was like, oh, that's different. And we still didn't hear the noise, and we're like, okay. And then this morning, but like then we flushed the toilet and we heard it. So we're like, okay. Fluke thing maybe? He went to the bathroom a couple of times this morning while I was laying in bed, and then my mom had gotten in there, and the noise comes from the wall that I lay up against. Never heard it. He goes, did it make the noise? I'm like, you know, I was laying here thinking I didn't hear it. And he's like, huh, we haven't heard it yet today. So I don't know what the heck is going on. We're both pretty confused at this point. So if the noise stops, we're not going to touch it. But we'll have the washers in case it starts up again to explore that avenue. I don't know, man. I'm not a plumber. I don't know what's causing these things. This house is old. And whoever built it kept adding on to it, and I don't know if they really knew all that much what they were doing, or they had different people every time they added on to it, helping them do something. Because nothing makes sense. Apparently they didn't believe in closets, because there's like 2 in this house, and so we just have like container storage kind of stacked everywhere. I don't know, man. Oh, so I hope everybody's been having a good week so far. I know it's only Tuesday, but hopefully it's been okay. We might do... Oh no, we can't. Well, we could. Hey, are we doing a fire tonight?
We were gonna wait till tomorrow, wasn't it?
I don't know.
We were gonna try to get the thing clean.
Yeah, but we could just take a bucket of water out. If we do it now, then we'll have time for it to dry out. Right? It should dry out by then? Maybe?
Maybe.
I guess I can always bring a towel. We have to clean off the chairs that we were gonna sit on. We did a bonfire tonight, the fire pit. Bonfire makes it sound so huge. We don't have that much wood. It'd be a small one. But that's okay. It doesn't need to be a very big one. It's not like we'd be sitting out there for hours on end anyway. Alright. So we're working on getting this one attached in here. I know I keep flipping it around, but I also need to keep seeing where we're attaching and how it's going in here. So I know that doesn't seem like it went very... Like, there's line 1, there's line 2, there's line 3. So we are adding to it. Doesn't look like it, but we are. Hmm. Do you want to do the other one now? Or do you want to do the other side first? That is the question. And that I don't know the answer to. So I guess we'll do the other side first here. This is the right side, right? I think so. Okay. So let's attach you to there. Right. And we'll get this all smushed into here. I'm just doing a real quick attachment pass. Like super quick on that side. And then on the underside, just to get us tacked down here. Just a bit. Okay. Now, let's work on getting this tacked down here fully. As best as we can. So I know we're working with white polyfill. Most people will traditionally use roving as the core for their critters at the very least. I didn't have that much roving left. What I did have was like a multicolored purple concoction of roving that was a large amount of it. I have some small bags of roving, but that wasn't gonna do for this. So we made Chungosaurus, which was the husband's Christmas creature last year, which the videos can be found for that on the YouTube channel. Same name as here, link should be down below somewhere. Or on the about page. We made that base out of polyfill, and it worked pretty good. Because I wanted something that was going to be a little bit stiffer. Because I wanted it to be able to stand up, and I didn't necessarily feel like putting the armature wire in there. I've done the wire before, not the pipe cleaner version, but I've done the regular wire, and that was a lot to deal with. It was super awkward for me, and trying to get my fingers in there where they needed to go. So I was like, well, let's just do it in true Nisey fashion and dive headfirst into it. And we'll just do the polyfill. It's fine, and it works okay. It might take a little bit longer to shape, and it might be a little bit stiffer to get your needle through or into. But it gets the job done. For certain. Like that. It works. And when I'm done getting the shapes made, we are going to cover them in acrylic yarn, like we've been doing with the Bob Ross needle felting along instead of using paint. We used acrylic yarn that we brushed out, you know, just like the balls of yarn that you get at the craft store. I was using the acrylic yarn, a little bit cheaper. It works just as fine, just as well. You take like a dog grooming brush, was it the sticker brush, I think they call it? Sticker, slicker, sticker, I think. It's got these little angled teeth on it. Get the metal ones. they work a little bit better. I mean, you could probably use hand cards too, but they're expensive. So if you don't have the budget to get those, the little doggy groomy brush works just as well. Oh gosh. Maybe we should have started out with doing some slightly thicker fluffy tubes along the edge of the head here. I was hoping to be a little bit further along today, but it is what it is. We might be adding an extra stream in December to finish this guy. Quite possibly. We might tack on an extra day somewhere. Or if I get my mom's done, then we might take that other art day and add this guy onto there. We'll see. I still have to get her present started. We haven't started that yet. I did get the tissue art stuff done from yesterday that we kind of ended way early on, but we were at a place where we kind of had to end, or we were going to sit there watching Mod Podge dry, and it actually took quite a while to dry. I'm not sure if using the heat gun on that would have dried it any faster, or if it would have made things sticky or anything, so I wanted it to dry on its own. And it did, and later last night, once the front was completely dry, then I went back and did the backs of them, and this morning everything was good, and then I added the little hangy strings, and I will try to get the pictures of those up onto the places. I'll try to post it on Instagram, the Ko-fi, the Blue Sky, and the YouTube page. Sounds like exhausting remembering just where to post those, let alone getting the post together. Okay. Oh, my neck is gonna be mad later. We started out okay, but as it's been getting denser, I am going to feel this very much later. That much I can promise. Okay, so we've got some loose guys up here. Okay, so it's not bad. We are getting there. It does need to be a little bit wider though. So we've got 2 more bits here to attach. So we are on 1, 2, 3. I don't see the fourth line all that well. I think we covered one of the other ones with it. Alright, so this guy. Gonna anchor his nose down here, or the tip down by the nose. I've seen a couple more people just be like, "Ah, fuck it," and start putting up Christmas lights. Now, I love the Christmas lights. I love the colors. It makes the world, it's hard to explain. It makes life around here not quite as dark because there's very few street lights around in the area that we're in. Like, there's a few, but there could be more. And they're not exactly the best placed on all of the streets. Like, some streets have like 2, maybe 3. And sometimes they're pretty far apart, so it can get pretty dark at night when we take our walks, if we happen to be walking at night that day. So seeing the Christmas lights up, I get kind of excited to see them, because it just makes the world a bit brighter around here and not quite so blah. It adds a little bit of life to these houses that otherwise, you know, we don't see any movement on because of the time of day that we're walking by them, really. So there's just something that I've always found to be soothing and joyful about the colored Christmas lights. I mean, I'll take the white ones if that's all I got, but I'd prefer the colored Christmas ones. There's just something about it that tickles part of my brain, and I'm like, yep, that's the shit right there. Can't explain it, but there's something about it that just brings me a spark of joy. I don't get tired of looking at them. Alright, so we're going to, I don't know if we're going to have time to fully attach. Oh, did you see the needle go through there? That's why we're careful. That's why we try to be careful. I don't know if we're going to have time to fully attach the other side. We'll see what life looks like here. As we get a little bit further. Okay. So, I mean, it is a slower process, but you can definitely see the progress that we've made start to finish today. So we're definitely not going to have time to do the antlers today, but that's okay. Or antennas, antlers. Might as well be antlers. That gives me time to look at some more photos and sort out how exactly... Oh, that was a very loud vehicle. how exactly I want to proceed with that. I'm not sure if I'm going to need to do a wraparound to smooth out the face or the head. We might not need to. Kind of depends on how things start looking as we go. Okay. Everything's getting a workout. The arms, the neck, the back, all of it. Trying to hold everything still. Alright. We might have time to get the other side anchored in here. Maybe. I mean, we're definitely taking on more of a triangular shape, that's for certain. Okay. Get you all anchored down into here. We've kind of caught up to that back bit of a nub there on the back of the head. Kind of. That section is still pretty squishy. Alright, that's not too bad, I guess. Okay, so if we add this guy, maybe it'll be wide enough, and then next week we can work on the antenna-y bits. Alright. Let's get you attached in there. Alright. And start to get this section put in here. Hi, Zuzu. Is he next to you or next to me? I hear him. Ow! Ah, it was my foot. He was behind me. He has this thing where he thumps down with his ass to the floor with so much attitude when he wants something from you. Alright, do I need to help you with that, or
No, I'll just have to go back.
is she gonna let you out without her?
I have
Okay. We are getting this other side tacked in. This is just the paint from the acrylic paint pen. From when we did the stomach. When we were IDing it, marking it, making sure we knew which side was the bottom. For our own visual reference. Okay, so like I want to work on it like facing this way, but it's a little bit harder to hold on to facing that direction. So I need to find a spot on my mat. I guess this is a good spot here. Ooh, careful, careful, careful. Like it might be easier for it to be laying flat. Kind of like trying to cut a round piece of fruit or something. Where you have to, or it's safer to cut a tiny sliver off than flatten it. But let's see here. I might have to turn it back sideways just to get a better feel for this. Hang on. What if we go this way? Nope, that's just not comfy. Like I'm on a terrible angle here. Alright. This mat has seen some things. We've definitely put it through its paces. I have a new mat, but I figured we might as well keep using this one. I did order a new mat. I do have a new one. It's pink instead of this color, so we'll see it eventually. But for right now, since we were working on a critter, and it wasn't anything that necessarily had to lay flat, I figured, what the heck? We'll just keep using on this one. Okay. So we're getting there. Definitely getting there. Let's see, you guys can probably see that a little bit better than I can actually. That one keeps trying to slide off my finger today. Get the other fingies out of the line of fire here. As best as we can. so we don't accidentally get them, because I keep trying to curl them up under the other finger, which is in prime range of accidental poking. Okay. So I'm pretty satisfied with where we are. I mean, I would like to be a little bit further. To be perfectly honest, I would have been happier if we had gotten the antenna started or done today, but all in all, I can't complain with how far we have gotten. We've gotten a little bit further than I expected. Even if I wanted to be further, I didn't expect to be further. Now, again, I haven't decided if we're going to do a bit of wrapping around yet to try to get our roundness back. We have flattened out a little bit. We kind of look more like a piece of pizza. So, I don't know yet. We might do that next week, in which case I'm not as far as I want it to be. But I also have to figure out how we're doing our little horny antennas, whatever the heck they are. Tendrils, tentacles, I don't know, what do you want to call them? The little thingies that come off the head that are like the ooh shit. Where'd it go? There it is. Uh-oh. That's not good.
Nothing too disastrous, I hope.
I don't know, because the cat is sitting there. And the needle snapped.
And you didn't notice if it went down there or not?
Well, the handle fell down here. The cat was sitting next to me under my desk. We might need to grab him.
He walked away already. Did the sharp piece stay?
No, it snapped.
Okay, so the all right.
But I don't know if it's in his fur.
So
that's why I was saying we needed to grab him.
Pretty sure it would fall off.
Not necessarily.
It's not in his fur, dearest.
Okay.
Here.
Where did it go?
Give me a flashlight.
Like, it kind of, like, flipped up out of my hand, and when I saw it, it was, like, in here.
You saw it somewhere?
No, I saw the handle.
Oh, the handle. Okay, I'm not seeing anything.
Okay, so I think that we will end stream here, because we need to find it. And I don't know where it went. It wasn't in here. So yeah, we will end there today.
And you didn't hear the sound of anything hitting the desk?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
So, we'll be back tomorrow with Planet Zoo. And, I will let you guys know later on Blue Sky if I found it. So don't forget to follow the social links down below. Thank you guys for popping in and hanging out with me this afternoon. I do greatly appreciate that. And, I'll see you all tomorrow. Have a good one.